everyone and welcome to CFC Fan TV. Of course we are still on Patreon, so if you would like to subscribe for extra videos, please do so now. The link is in the description below. Anyway, me and Rory have been having a chat today, a very serious conversation I think, and we have come up with 3 players that we think need to be given a chance in the first team at Chelsea FC.
Now.
So, number 1 and our first player, and the person I think we need to talk about the most, is Ruben Loftus-Cheek. Now, I think me and Charlie did a video, I did it again, didn't I? Me and Charlie did a video earlier on in the season about how we thought he just sort of expected to be in the first team, and how I think anybody can see that you need to work your way into it, especially when you're coming up against, I mean, players like Jorginho, Kovacic, you know, you're going to have to work your way in no matter how good you are. And I think he had a fantastic season at Palace. I just thought that coming back to Chelsea...
Good World Cup.
A good World Cup, yeah. But I just thought coming back to Chelsea, you can't just be expecting to be in the first team straight away. It's going to be something that you need to work towards. And from what I've seen ever since then, I think, like you said, Raw, he's matured a lot, he's grown up a lot. I think his attitude is spot on. I think he comes on it, he doesn't look nervous to me at all. I think he just goes for it. I think he tries... you know, as much as his hardest. I think he tries all different sorts of things. He's not afraid to take the ball on himself. And I think actually it's quite hard. I think in previous seasons, it's not just him. Players come on, they've only got 10 minutes. They're almost sort of scared to try something new, which is understandable. But
completely.
Loftus-Cheek for me has been fantastic.
And the other thing is, the other reason why I think he needs to start, there's so much that he does on the pitch that nobody else can do at the club. So we need somebody who is prepared to drive forward, carry the ball, literally pick the ball up on his own D, and take it to the opposition D. He's prepared to do that. Defenders hate having players who run at them, direct, you know, just power through. And he has,
against Fulham.
Yeah, he has all the power and prowess to do that. Just like run through, directly drive into the heart of the opposition. So we need a player around like that. And crucially, we need a player around who, these 2 really important points. 1, who can score a goal, obviously, but 2, and this is what I think is so important, particularly when you think about what happened against Tottenham. We need a player who understands this club.
Yeah.
You know, the disparity between players and fans has never been greater. And there's nobody there, really, who gets it. Like, Mateo Kovacic, as much as I love him, he doesn't know how important the game is against Tottenham. How does he know?
Do you know that Tottenham game? You could see one of the main problems in it is they look so up for it. The likes of
Dele Alli, Harry Kane. They say, look, we're not going to lose this game. Guess what this team did to us? We will not lose this game. Whereas nobody at Chelsea, you know, now John Terry, Frank Lampard, now they're not there. Nobody at Chelsea really gets it. Loftus-Cheek does. Loftus-Cheek, he's been at the club since he was 8 years old. Yeah. And Loftus-Cheek, he's me. And he's you. And he's you.
And
he's just better at football than we are.
Yeah.
But he's the same as we are.
And do you know what? Actually, I think having a good season like you did at Palace, having a great World Cup, any other player who wanted to just play first team football would have left and gone somewhere else, because he could be playing week in, week out. He's chosen to stay. He wants to stay at Chelsea Football Club. He wants to be a first team member. And, well, why wouldn't we want that?
I completely agree. Loftus-Cheek needs to be in the team now.
So another player that we think deserves a chance this season is Ethan Ampadu. He is another amazing talent. He's from Devon, like me, actually. Both from the same neck of the woods. But the only question I think fans will have now is, where does he play, Raw? So
I think he plays centre back. I think that, you know, we've seen very capable performances in central midfield. Also the other night against Pau Salonika, he played right back. Mm-hmm. He's been excellent in all of those positions. He really is. And I just think that the composure that he shows, considering his tender age, is so impressive. And I think it's a perfect example of this adage: if you're good enough, you're old enough.
Yeah.
Like, totally. I don't quite understand why we wouldn't give him a chance. He's demonstrated only brilliance.
Yeah, I don't think age matters anymore. You know, like Declan Rice at West Ham? He's very young and he's in the first team. So,
absolutely. Look what Jadon Sancho's doing.
Yeah, so
given
I think there are a lot of. I don't think age really should be a factor anymore. I think if you're good enough, you start, and that's the end of it. But
and he's never put a foot wrong. He has never put a foot wrong. And on every opportunity that he's been given, he grabbed it with both hands, and he has all of the right attributes that you want. So he's very calm on the ball, irrespective of what position he's playing. He's very calm on the ball, and this is something that I think is truly brilliant for a man of his age. When you watch him play with seasoned pros, you know, he's on a pitch with like players who really get it. He demands the ball. He wants the ball, which is a huge attribute. And the third thing, and this is crucial, he's not scared of anyone. He goes flying in, challenges. He's hard. I think we saw him he was playing for Wales, and he was fouled. I think Wales were playing Denmark, and he was fouled quite badly. He got up, he dusted himself down, he didn't care. 2 seconds later, the guy that fouled him was on the floor in a hole. So it was a wonderful thing to see what Ethan Ampadu did there, and he does seem to demonstrate all of the right attributes. So I just don't quite understand why we wouldn't give him a chance. I understand that there's competition in central midfield. That could be a very difficult place for him to break into. But I think he's a centre half.
Yeah,
I really do.
And actually, at the back, if you're considering the arguments we have at the moment, let's just say David Luiz and Christensen. Some of us favour David Luiz, other favour Christensen, but there's also arguments for both as why you wouldn't start them as well. If you're looking at Ethan Ampadu and you're saying he hasn't really put much of a foot wrong so far,
at all.
That's the sort of player that we need at the moment, because one of the things that fans are getting annoyed about is our lack of solidity at the back in certain areas, especially now that we've changed and we've moved Dave from right, central, right, left, wherever he's been. We would need somebody who can just come in and just do a very good defensive job, and that is
absolutely. And we've got a game in Greece. Sorry, not in Greece. We've got a game in Budapest where I think he really does need to be given a chance. So get him in the team now.
And last but not least is Hudson-Odoi. For me, it's a little bit crazy why he hasn't started more games this season. I understand Sarri's system, but I think we've had a lot of other games, Europa League games.
And whenever he's been given a chance again, he's grabbed that chance with both hands. You've got to look against Pax Salonika the other day. He scored and he made an assist. He can't do any more than that. Like that's him doing his job. And if you look at the position that he plays, he's in a very competitive position, so it's difficult. On one side, it's going to be Eden Hazard. We know that. On the other side, I think Pedro is probably the best option at the moment. It's what happens if one of those are out. Willian is the natural suggestion, but I think Willian has been very profligate of late. I think he's just not been on fire, and the fact that Hudson-Odoi has been playing so well, I don't see what the damage would be to not give him that opportunity.
Yeah, exactly. And for me, actually, the assist is actually more important than goals. Creating goals for the team. That's super
goals,
important.
Going mad when he scores, completely up for it. Again, I just think that
he's another player that would understand as well what these important games, what these derbies mean, and all that sort of thing. He puts a little bit more heart and soul into the team.
I know that Willian is an excellent player and has been very, very good servant to us, but if his form doesn't deserve to be knocking on the door for a first team place, and Hudson-Odoi's does, then I don't see why you wouldn't play. It's got to be a meritocracy, and Hudson-Odoi has done nothing wrong, and should therefore be closer to starting a first team game in the Premier League than it currently is.
Yeah, and I think actually the midfield can be rotated, unlike our back line, which you would hope throughout the season
to keep it as stable as possible.
Yeah, exactly. I think the midfield, because it's such a demanding job and you're running up and down the pitch, I think you need to rotate it, and I actually don't see the harm at all in giving Hudson-Odoi a chance. If it would actually probably improve Willian's form for him to have a bit of a rest, have somebody else come in, you can rotate quite nicely.
Yeah, I think having somebody knocking on the door to start when you're used to starting is only going to do you a favour.
Yeah.
That competition is what spurs people on. Mm-hmm. You want to have people I think the reason why, for example, Riyad Mahrez is playing so well for Manchester City is because he knows the second that he has an off day, he's not in the team. And I think that with Willian, I think he's felt very lucky lately that I think he's quite safe in the knowledge that Hudson-Odoi isn't going to start. Yeah. And I think that needs to change.
And I think actually for Chelsea Football Club, over the years, we have, up until probably Antonio Conte came, when he actually changed it slightly and he said, right, if you're having a bad game, I'll bring somebody else in, up until his sort of last spurt of the club, was when he sort of got a bit stubborn. He's probably the first manager that came in and said, no, if you're not having a good day, I'm going to change it around.
Yeah.
And I think actually prior to that, especially with Mourinho, if you're having a bad day, Fabregas had however many bad days, he was still in the team week in, week out. So I think that does need to change. I think the Premier League changes every single year, and I think actually these youngsters are just as capable of doing a good job, and I think the likes of even Loftus-Cheek are showing that. They're coming on, they're doing really well, and it shouldn't be any different for Hudson-Odoi.
Agreed.
So there you have it. Those are 3 players we think deserve a chance in Chelsea FC's starting lineup. I think we've got it spot on, haven't we, Raw?
I hope so. I'm sure they'll tell us if we haven't.
I'm sure you will do. But if you do disagree with us, if you agree with us, please comment below. And of course, make sure you click the subscribe button. We do have extra videos on Patreon now. Some will be uploaded this week. So please head over there. The link is also in the description below. And yeah.
In a bit.